Everyman Podcast.
Everyman.
Woo. Woo, Darrell Campbell.
Velvety goodness.
Crystal clear as crystal, as the great late Gene Wilder once said. The Everyman Podcast is here. Another week, another pod.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know where that sound comes from. I don't know if it's the bottom of my throat or the top of my colon. I don't know. You just tell me. Tell me where it's coming from.
From where I'm sitting.
Sounds good.
From where I'm sitting, one and the same, my friend.
Nice.
Darrell Campbell, what's happening, brother?
Dude, man, you know what it is. I'm here. I'm here at the shop making stuff happen, man. Making films, making mouths happy like Twizzlers, bro. That's all I can do. Creating digital content.
Stories that will transcend space and time.
Yeah.
And also hard drives full of your content that will live on forever.
Terabizzles, bro.
Terabizzles forever. All at NFL Films.
Dude, what'd you just eat there? Was that gum?
No.
What are you?
I'm glad you asked. I go through phases, as you know. As an everyman, you got to learn how to manage your quirks, because as a young everyman, I used to let certain things run my life. Like, I'd get it hooked on, the cardio machine, and then, sprain my groin or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. I just get into stuff. So as I've gotten older, I've learned how to do it in a healthier, more responsible, productive way. So that to say that they are icebreaker sugar-free mints. I'm currently on a one pack every 3 days. So I'm trying to get that down to 1 pack a week. Cause I just eat these things like they're fucking candy. It's bad.
A tough sale, man, because it really is candy. It tastes like candy.
Well, I'm worried about my innards. I mean, I'm thinking they're going to be chalky and white in no time.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm wondering if your innards are worried about you. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. There's probably been some times where they're wondering what I'm doing to it. That's for sure.
Probably. Yeah, lethal ordness passing through those gills.
Oh God, yeah. Well, it's like these icebreakers. They kind of give me a little papa alertness, because of that mint. And I'm just, I sit there at work, crushing them at my desk, and pretty much when I'm driving, especially on the road for work, I go through, like 1 pack on one drive. But so icebreakers, sugar-free mints. Shout out, big fan of your work, guys. Thanks for the
sugar
great
crystals.
Mints. Yeah, those little sugar. If I could just get the sugar crystals that are in there, if I could just get that pure rock crystal sugar mint, and then maybe just crush some of those up.
I felt that way about my favorite childhood cereal, Marshmallow Blasted Fruit Loops. I was like, you know what?
Wow.
The best portion of this isn't the loop, it's the marshmallow. So what would an all marshmallow cereal be like? Has the world ever done it?
It's funny you mentioned that. I like to go to we like to go to the farmers market down here, the Amish market. Shout out to the Amish.
Shout outs.
The Amish in our great state of Pennsylvania here. It is when you meet people, as we often do, and I know you're not a native to Pennsylvania, but as you're here now, I'm sure somebody has asked you, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, outside the Philadelphia area." "Oh, is that near the Amish?"
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I talk to somebody from the West Coast, they think of Pennsylvania as Philadelphia, Amish, and then Pittsburgh. That's it. So Philly, Amish, Pittsburgh. And I'm constantly having to say, no, I don't live in Philly, and no, I don't live, I'm not Amish.
No, I'm not. No bonnets here, bro.
So that's something that I'd like to shine a light on. I wish we could get an Amish person on the podcast. Maybe I can look into that at the farmers market, but I don't know if that works with their system. Podcasting.
Their lifestyle. Yeah, might not be
might be able to do an interview and then get a transcript, and maybe we could reenact it.
Probably.
That would be
sounds
good.
like the best bet.
I think that might be. Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea. But so we're at the Amish market, and they have like the little Amish treats. And they've got all this crazy, chocolate covered cherries and fudge and all this wonderful stuff. But
fudge, shout out to fudge, man. When's the last time you had a decent?
Oh, the last time I was at the Amish
slab
market.
Of fudge, you know.
I'm telling you, anytime I go to the farmer's market, I get a slab of fudge. Yeah,
fudge.
I like to I like to get fudged up, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I see what you did there.
So
I see what you did.
We're cruising this sweet shop, and I see a bag that catches my eye. And my girlfriend picked it up. It's I don't know, maybe a gallon sized bag filled with just the marshmallows from Lucky Charms. It's just a bag of marshmallows. Are you kidding me? It's fucking
just a bag of marshmallows. So here's the thing. Now it makes me wonder.
So I know what that cereal. I know what that cereal tastes like because I got a bag of it.
Well, here's the thing. So you have a bag of it, right?
That's right.
I'm sure it's amazing, but it makes me think about manufacturing. It makes me think of, okay, well, is there somebody plucking these things out one by one? Are they getting granular with it, or is it just are we implementing the wheel, the machine? Is it coming out like that? It just makes me wonder.
That's a great question. And when I was in my unhealthy stage, when I was sick and bedridden, I used to watch How It's Made.
Oh,
all fucking day long. I love that show. You run out of things to watch, and then you find out how it's made. So I've seen everything from fire trucks to number 2 pencils, Tupperware, hammers, leather. I mean everything. But I've never seen Lucky Charm marshmallow, how it's made. So I'm gonna look back into the archives. Maybe I can find that. We can get some answers to these hard-hitting questions that literally everyone is asking.
Everyone.
How do they make those tiny marshmallows? It's got to be a dye system, some sort of molded injection, and then they, probably bake them. I don't even know how a regular marshmallow is made, let alone a tiny one.
Like, dude, it has some bite to it. Like these marshmallows, these aren't just regular marshmallows. No. They're not like just your straight up soft morsels of goodness that, clings like they do on the s'mores. No, these have bite to them. They are sized up. They've been to the gym, if you will, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
You know what that is? Maybe they're all just 2 weeks stale. Like they make them all, and then they keep them a certain amount of time, so they're all a little chewy, and you're like, oh, this is different. What is this? Yeah. And you can't quite put your finger on it because you never eat stale marshmallows normally.
Yeah.
But every marshmallow in the cereal box is fucking stale because it's been sitting on a grocery store.
Mm. You make a fair point, my friend.
It's a theory. It's just a theory.
Yeah.
Throwing it out there.
I kind of don't want to think about it now because I'm going to eat a big bowl of it with a serving spoon in a minute. So.
Well, the first short form documentary will be, how the marshmallows are made that you can find on the Everyman Podcast YouTube page.
Did you like your stale marshmallows? Did you like them?
Can I have some more?
Can I have some more stale marshmallows, please, sir? More.
It's a mystery, and it's something I'm willing to look into further.
Mm-hmm.
It's the great marshmallow.
All in the name of science and research.
Right. Someone's got to do it. I mean, these marshmallows aren't going to get figured out themselves.
That's true, man.
That brings me to another point. This weekend I had a little interesting weekend. It was a bit of a low key weekend. When the everyman is on his grind, sometimes you gotta just chill.
Gotta chill, bro.
And got to spend the afternoon with one of our best supporters and listeners to the show. That would be the one and only Fishtown Tony. Happy 30th birthday, Fishtown Tony.
Happy birthday, bro.
It was lovely. Lovely spending time in your neck of the woods. And it made me realize that sometimes the best parts of life are the unexpected gatherings of different ideas. So you're going to see your friends, but maybe your friends has a new significant other that they're dating, or perhaps they bring a homie with them that you've never met. And I'm very blessed to have and you've become not only a central figure to it, but you've been at my house when the so-called love, you call it the love parade, comes through.
Oh, dude.
And it's like a never-ending chain of just wonderful people that are all like-minded, that we all just love each other. And it grows, and we bring new people in, and it's like we find somebody new to bring into that circle, and you share that experience with them. Yep. And I'm sitting up there on Fishtown Tony's beautiful, beautifully designed and decored upper deck, looking out over Philadelphia. See the Ben Frank, and the beautiful city skyline.
Yeah.
And one of our friends brought his girlfriend, and somebody new that from a different background. You meet all these new people and you get all these new ideas, and it was really great. And that's, we talk about sharing your light in the world, but sometimes it's nice to be the recipient of the light.
Yeah.
And I definitely was on Saturday, and had a great experience with that, and heard some points of view that were different from mine that I really thought about over the weekend and engaged with. So all that to say, I had a great relaxing weekend, and happy birthday, Fishtown Tony.
There you go. But what happens when you don't get the rays of sunshine that everyone desperately needs? What if the extension of your compadres aren't really on the same stratosphere as you? How do you deal with that?
Well, I think, because actually I had a conversation about this recently. I don't think that I have some sort of special skill to focus in on something and then go after it, like the podcast, for example. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of believing that you can do something, affirming that motivation, that thought that you have, and making it a reality through hard work and consistency and all these other things. But it's natural for everybody to have ups and downs, and sometimes
ebbs and flows.
Like I said, sometimes you're the light, sometimes the light's shining on you, sometimes there's no light. And in those times where the light's out, you just have to bring it back on. And that's the thing that I'm starting to understand about my personality is it's an ability to it's okay to go down. Everyone that's successful, everyone that's not successful goes up and goes down. You're right. Whoever your favorite musician is, whoever your favorite athlete is, they have moments of sadness and depression as well.
Yeah,
it's just
part of life.
The difference is how those people bring themselves back up. And I personally am a big believer in this, and it's something that I've learned from you, which is, positive affirmations and actually vocalizing something and bringing it into your subconscious thought that you're capable of doing something. And I this is something I do on a daily basis. I'll get up, and if I'm feeling particularly drained, I'm not feeling like the everyman that I always am, I look in the mirror and I tell myself I can do this. I can absolutely do this. It's not a question. It's a fact. I'm going to do this. There might be some areas of what I'm about to do that are going to be difficult, but I know I can do it, and I'm going to do it. When I do that, and I realized what I'm doing, you're putting that positive affirmation to the front of your mind, and you're drilling it down as it's not a possibility, it's a certainty.
Oh yeah. Like you're throwing it out in the universe, man.
Right. And then all you have to do is do what you do, whatever it is. Is it arts? Is it crafts? Is it professional football? Is it professional drumming? Whatever it is that you do that got you to that point, just do it.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yes. One of my former teammates, LaCharles Bentley, he's got his own kind of way to play initiative with the NFL currently, and he goes around and he talks to kids about the power of being intentional and why football is such a great game, and that it teaches you how to fail, and the lesson is learned not by within the ebbs and flows staying down, but having the ability and that intentionality, like that mental construct to get back up. You know what I mean? And once you do it, it's just like your reaffirmation of, what, I can do this, even if you're not feeling it.
Right.
Even if you feel down, if you're not feeling like your former everyman self, you reaffirming to yourself, throwing it out in the universe that it can be done is like it's like you throwing a carrot out in front of yourself. You know what I mean? And you just rolling with it. So I think that's really cool, Brother Jay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's something that everybody can apply to their lives and whatever you're doing right now. Whether you're sitting here, you're say you're in an oppressive corporate office environment and a cubicle right now, and you're listening to this podcast. I'm talking directly to you right now, but it could be the same thought as somebody who's driving a truck across the country.
Right.
It's just whatever you're doing, continue to do it and affirm that you can do it, because the negativity, that has power. Yeah. The same way positivity has power. If you believe that positivity has power, then by default, negativity has power. And if you look around right now and you're surrounded by people who say, yeah, did you see that new so-and-so movie? Yeah, it sucked. These new Jordans, they're ugly. Did you hear that new so-and-so record? Yeah, it's lame. If everything's negative and nobody's characterizing anything positive, that's a good sign that you are in the wrong circle, unless that's what you want.
Right.
And I don't think that's something that the everyman wants, the everyman and the everywoman. I think everyone has a desire to be great at what they do. Right. Everyone wants to be excellent. Yeah. It's just how much importance you put on that. And now, just like anything, too many icebreakers is bad. Too much Tylenol is bad. Too much focus on excellence and execution makes you a narcissist.
Right. And a robot.
Too little makes you, a bum. So there's got to be that happy medium between like focusing on your family and your career and achieving excellence, and also giving back to people when you can, and sharing your everyman light.
You hit it right on the head too, Brother Jay. It's a mindset, man. That has to permeate everything that you do. And I think, once that occurs, then it's not work. It just is who you are. You know what I mean? It just
absolutely,
by definition, is default for who you are as a person, who you are as an everyman or every woman. You're just rolling, man. You're just rolling.
And it's okay to lose your way. People, like, I've lost my way at times, and I had some health issues in the last couple of years that after my big health issues that I didn't really realize were going on, that kind of slowly but surely derailed me. And now that I've got a clearer picture on that now, I'm getting back where I was. And then that's why it's so clear, is because you can when you've gotten off the mark, or you've started to stray from the path that you set on, and then things in your life start to change, and then you can either keep sliding down that hill, or you can say enough is enough, and it's time for revolution. which is where we are today. We're in the everyman revolution. Clanging and banging, clipping and dripping. It's what we do.
Taking the world by storm.
That's right. Literally taking the world by storm. I noticed we got 6 new subscribers to the Everyman Podcast out in Indonesia.
Big ups.
So thank you guys for checking us out over there. And I saw a couple in West Hollywood too. So we're, coast to coast, pole to pole. Everyman Podcast is there.
We're doing it, man.
Yeah, it's great. Doing it. It's great. It's beautiful. It's great. It's lovely. It's wonderful. I love it.
It's a happy everyman family.
Happy everyman family indeed. And I think, it extends not only terrestrially, but it extends out into the universe and into the cosmos, where we are in the cosmic canoe, as always. Mm-hmm. And, it's funny. We were discussing on our previous episode, we were discussing my exciting trip to Rhode Island, where I had the pleasure of riding the Lime scooters. Well, my wonderful girlfriend is currently abroad for work. I guess she's not really abroad. She's abroad domestically. And in the town where she is, would you fucking believe it? They've got the rideshare scooters too. And she sent me a picture and said Cosmic Canoe.
Gosh.
And I said, that's right.
That's it.
That's
You're
it.
part of it.
So I said, you gotta hop on. That's what you
just grab an oar, man.
That's just grab an oar, put on a life vest, hop in.
Yeah.
Cosmic
For
Canoe.
all of you that are listening, you're a part of it too. You just don't know it yet. Or you do, and we're exchanging paddles
right
down this lane. So
popping paddles,
bro.
That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're on this Cosmic Canoe, I've always been fascinated by space, by the thought of everyman aliens, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle on Friday because a podcast that I'm sure you guys some of y'all listen to, I know I certainly do, Joe Rogan Experience. Joe Rogan had Bob Lazar on the show. Now, quick recap. When I was a young boy, I was always very fascinated by unexplained stuff, Sasquatch, aliens, UFOs, Loch Ness Monster, all that stuff. So I'd watch it all on TV. And the one thing that was always playing a ton in the 90s growing up was Bob Lazar and his whole Area 51 thing. So quick recap. Yep. Basically, this guy popped up in the early 90s and said that, I'm working at Area 51 and there's all these UFOs there, these recovered UFOs, and I was helping to reverse engineer them for the U.S. government. And then this was pre modern media, pre-internet kind of, this was very early on. Mm-hmm. What ends up happening to this guy is he ends up pretty much going ghost, gets completely discredited, made to look as if he is a complete buffoon. And they had no college records. They couldn't find his birth certificate. Couldn't find any of this shit. The only proof that they had, because part of his story was that he was working at this Los Alamos research facility. He built a rocket car. By the way, there's a picture of this guy with a jet engine that he built at home, that he converted a gas-powered engine Honda Civic to run on a jet engine. But that's not proof of anything. That's not proof of this guy's credentials by any means. He just happens to be able to build a jet car. So the only proof of this guy's existence, really, outside of him saying who he is this newspaper, back in 1989 of it says Los Alamos physicist Bob Lazar in his jet car.
Right.
So basically the guy, he is worried for his life. People are coming after him. He says, he goes poof, disappears for 20 some years. And you don't hear shit from this guy forever. Not
a thing.
And it really seemed like, this guy, maybe he was just full of shit and trying to
took off in his Hyundai,
took off in his jet engine Honda and made off into the sunset. Completely just a guy who's a liar who builds jet cars. Fine.
Yeah, that guy's out of here.
So a number of things he claimed. And you can go back and see these in these original, the 1990, whatever it was, 92 the video that they did for the Las Vegas News. He made all these claims about this fucking hand reader, that scanned the length of the bones in your fingers, because apparently he was saying in early 90s that's more unique than a fingerprint, and what they're using is they're measuring your finger bones to verify who you are, because at that point 30 years ago technology was so good that they could fake that. So he says this, people mock him and say this is bullshit, blah blah blah.
Right.
Another thing was this element 115 on the periodic table. So he was saying, we know that the fuel for this reactor that we were trying to figure out how it worked, it used this element, a stable version of this element that they were calling element 115. Everybody was saying, oh, Bob Lazar, you fuck, there's no element 115, there's no hand scanner. What are you talking about, jet boy? Well, some Freedom of Information Act request 6 years ago as part of a History Channel show that hand scanner was declassified. So that's a real thing that came out, and this documentary that they're talking about. So he goes on pretty much Joe Rogan to promote this documentary that came out, and the documentary, the intention of it is to like, one, validate this guy's existence, two, prove that he has the technical skills that he said he did, and three, show like what he like, maybe this is real.
Right.
So two big things happen, you know, the hand thing comes out that's true, and then element 115 is added to the periodic table, and they're still trying to figure out aspects of it, and that's a real thing now, and now they all know about this shit. So they catch up with Bob Lazar. He's hanging, you know, at his house in Michigan. He's got a, granted, he doesn't have a college degree from MIT, but he has this nuclear testing lab that he owns and operates, and he just tests radioactive materials and shit. Oh, and he builds jet bicycles and jet cars and jet go-karts and jet skateboards. Like, dude, he's literally mixing rocket fuel and putting it all together and mounting, and it's on a bicycle, and the bicycle takes off. Like, this guy clearly, I don't care if you have a college degree from MIT, it doesn't make your story true. It doesn't make it false either. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
So all this to say, basically on Friday, the internet blows up with this whole Bob Lazar thing because he goes on Joe Rogan and more or less quadruples down. And now Joe Rogan's show is it's got to this point where it's such a huge, it might be the biggest show, period. Like, as far as when something, I mean, you look at the people he's had on, he's got the presidential candidates on there, but he's got like Elon Musk and, you know, like, I mean, it's just, it's gotten to a crazy level of, you know, status.
Yeah, he's got the boys on there.
Right. So now he's got this dude giving this guy this huge opportunity to set the record straight. And Bob Lazar gets on there and fucking quadruples down. And he's like, yeah, look, they've got UFOs. I've seen them. Here's what they are. Here's how it works. They've got all these different companies that, you know, basically, you know, the military companies out there that are working with this technology. And he's pissed because he thinks that, you know, we should all have access to it. So
right.
I think it's very interesting. I highly recommend it if you're somebody who's not into you know, the whole alien thing. It's definitely a good place to start. And if you are somebody who's into it, you're gonna love it. So yeah, I think the documentary's on Netflix. It's called Bob Lazar and UFOs and something like that. If you just type in, it's like the front page on there, but Bob Lazar will come up there, and then watch his appearance on Joe Rogan. But what do you think, Darrell? Do you think, I mean, now our boy, first of all, I'd love to get Bob Lazar on the Everyman Podcast.
Yeah.
I might give him a spin.
Might.
What do you think? I mean, because he's got a bit of a checkered past.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm always down with shedding light on things that not our everyman or everywomen or everyone, you know, don't know. I mean, we want information where we exist in a world that consumes it by the second, right? And you have a guy here that's alluding to things and government conspiracies and cover-ups and Area 51 and extraterrestrial, you know, things of that nature. And, you know, some of it has through this documentary been found to be true. I mean, he's factual on it.
Yeah, some of the that's the thing, circumstantial stuff. Like there's no, and you know what, man? I think we live in a time now where a UFO could fucking land on my front lawn right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And an alien would come out and he'd say, hey, do you know how to do you got any tips for brisket? And I would be like, you've literally landed at the perfect place. Come on in.
Right.
And I could document that thing with 4 cameras and record it on audio, and everybody would nobody would believe it.
Right.
So like, if there was proof of shit, would you believe it?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, especially if it's proof. But I mean, dude, there's so much stuff. Like even they even when it comes to technology within movies, like things that like I remember the stuff like with the Matrix back in the day. People are like, oh, how the hell are they doing that? They go spinning around. You know what I mean? And then just the wireframing that goes along with that, and then even some of the 3D. The three-dimensional architecture that's used in like Star Wars and stuff like that. That stuff, you think some of it, you say, oh man, that's great After Effects and Apple Motion. No, that's real shit. Like that stuff like exists. Yep. You go to some of these Comic Cons, you see people with like Doctor Strange emblems rolling around their freaking wrists,
holograms,
and it's like it's a tiny little LED that's like
spinning really fast. Yep,
dude. So if I saw bona fide proof before my eyes, like if I'm you and you are the brisket master and the alien just landed on, I'm like, yo, I believe that this is happening. Like you say, the checker passed. I mean, he did get that felony. You know what I'm saying?
He did try to set up. He did try to set up a brothel. And may or may not have surveilled, the brothel. However, now you see, here's the weird thing.
Yeah.
He talks about in the documentary where he says, I made such a big deal with the media attention that they couldn't directly harm me, but what they did was everyone in his family has been audited twice. Anytime they've applied for mortgages, they have problems. They get all sorts of weird things. And there's actually, I don't want to spoil the documentary, but there's a scene where it plays out that it seems highly likely that he's being surveilled. Because, long story short, he has a conversation with the director on camera, and then they talk about, we're gonna put that memory card in an off. It's not going to be. We're not going to put it online or anything. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, his house gets raided by the FBI, and they're quoting his conversation that was filmed the day before.
Wow!
So, like, we know they have these kind of capabilities of surveillance, and I have no illusion of personal privacy anymore. I assume everything I'm doing is being recorded.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure,
in some capacity, or your phone or whatever, and I think it opens up a lot of questions about who we've entrusted to handle the secret knowledge. And it's like, well, maybe we should all know. Well, maybe we're not ready to handle it because, we can't. Sometimes we struggle with some basic things here as a culture and as humanity because, at the end of the day, we're still pretty young as far as, the grand scheme of things. It's like we're just a speck of dust.
Yeah, dude. You think about how much stuff we don't know that we consider secret that we could possibly have access to. Like, I think about all those Google algorithms, bro. Like, I don't know them all, but I know that if you do some fine focused searching using them, you can really pull up some crazy stuff. So, it's.
I have a close friend who works in an industry. Let me be careful how I phrase this. Works in an industry that involves targeted content.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, this was maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
He told me then that based off of the information he knows about me, like tangentially, not like he has brown eyes, he's 5'10", like not like that. Like he likes the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been to the TLA on South Street 25 times. You pick a couple things. He's like, I could send a targeted content direct. Like, I know it could get directly to you. I don't know it's you by your name. I don't type in your name and then it goes to Justin. It's all the other things you're engaging with. And you just basically pull all that information together and you whittle it down to find the exact person you're looking for based off of what they're doing. So like you're saying, I mean, that opens up the scale so huge on for everyone. So I don't know how we could have all that information.
Right.
You know, without people running amok with it and causing chaos.
And two, you have the information, right? That it's like, okay, what do you do with it, right?
All right. How am I gonna what are people like? People are gonna do two things. Okay, they're gonna create cults and they're gonna create gangs. You're gonna have a bunch of cult leaders and gang leaders mixed up with each other,
right,
all fighting for control. That's why I don't think that kind of stuff would ever really come out too early, unless there's unless we're moments from a UFO landing on the White House lawn. I don't think we'll ever know, you know, and I mean that in the sense that like we know that there's frozen ice on Mars because NASA told us. Like I don't think they're ever gonna be like yeah there's aliens, unless they're fucking here, you know.
Yeah. But you know what though, like,
because watch me not pay taxes when the aliens show up. Just kidding. Just kidding. I always pay my taxes.
Sam was gonna get his taxes,
right? see how many people.
They gonna find you if you own Mars. You know what I'm saying? They gonna find you.
Yeah, recycling goes out the door immediately. You know,
you ask some of these celebrities thought that they could avoid have some tax evasion.
Listen, you're gonna bring down Blade for tax evasion. Lauryn
Hill.
Lauryn Hill,
didn't they?
Dude, I mean, they don't care who you are.
Dude, well, you know, what if you like had access to the like the blueprints of the reverse engineering? Because my son, like, we'll be sitting in traffic in 295, you know what I mean? And like he'll just say, Dad, man, what if we just had, kids just tell you how it is.
Yep.
Why can't we just zip up into the sky, man, and get over this? You know what I mean? Like, what if you could just like if I had, like, I wouldn't even want the information for anything nefarious, man. I just want to like do simple shit.
Get out of traffic.
Like just, you know what, baby boy, you're right. Let's just engage the propulsion system here and zip over this shit. I'm out. It's like Jetsons. I'm just gonna pull into the parking spot. Like,
see, that's why we'll never have access to alien technology, because everyone would just have the same idea at the same time. Be like, fuck this. Boop. I'm just gonna scoot on. I'm just gonna scoot on, and then
fuck all those vectors that everybody's on these passenger planes on, and they got zipping through the skies. I'm just gonna go up here and just
like, dude, texting and driving. Can you imagine texting and flying a car? Like, come on.
It's the worst thing, texting and driving, man. It's so dangerous, bro.
Yeah, like, you guys got to, everybody cut that out. If you're listening to this in the car right now and your phone is in your hand, put it down.
Man, just put it down, man. You know?
It can wait.
Hand safe, hand-free environment. That's all I'm saying.
Come on.
Come on.
We want you to listen, but we don't want you to be texting while you're listening and while you're driving. Just
we want you to live, baby.
Yeah, live.
We want you to live.
Because there's more episodes coming every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on your favorite podcast providers such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Doggone right there is.
That's the way it is, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so now, do you think there's a situation where, Nicolas Cage, I've said before, is my favorite actor of all time, and National Treasure 1 and 2, it's a crime against humanity that we have not had some more of that. Whew, that's a whole nother topic. But
yeah, bro. Yeah.
If there was that book of secrets and you get into the White House, you get access to that book, is that the first thing you're looking for, is UFOs and aliens? Or are you looking for, like, where did we come from?
Well, dude, it's like, I think here's the thing. Everyone, the number one thing that everybody wants to have about their life, about their person, is options. That's what you want. You want it isn't like it's not the wholesale this thing, the wholesale that thing. It's the fact that I get this and that.
Right.
That's what you want. So if you get access provides you with options.
Right.
So when you get when you get the options around you, you're going fucking nuts, bro. You're taking it all in. I want to know the secret blueprints. I want to know about extraterrestrials. I want to know what information's on the back of that thing. I want to know it all, because you know what? I have access in this given moment right now to get it all. And I don't even want to know what to do with it. I just want to know that I have access to it to have it. It's like, dude, if you were in my office right now, bro, I've got, I want to say 20 external hard drives, right? Let's just say on like just my top shelf over there has about 20 external hard drives, right? There's all sorts of information on those hard drives. I could get an 8 terabyte hard drive and maybe pack most to, if not all of it on there. You know what I mean? But you know what? There's something about the portability of having like 20 of those little things and just having options for, this one is for, anime. This one is for, current events. This one is for movies. This is for comedy. And I'm just circling those things out, passing them out like Tic Tacs, bro. You know what I mean? I have options. If I got one device and I got to carry it with me, you know what? I don't have options.
So
I just have.
So your move would be
freaking device.
Your move
I want it all.
Is take the whole book, and you're not really leaving the skiff until you've got the whole thing down. See,
until I know it all.
This right here this logic is why I do not believe that the president of the United States, whoever it is at any given time, knows this shit. Because what kind of human being would get that information about, by the way, we're not the only ones here. Not only are we not the only ones here, but they come here all the time and they outman us. They outmatch us technologically. They have way more resources than, like, literally it's like us looking at a mouse. No normal person would be able to come out of that meeting room and then go campaign for re-election or like think about the crazy shit that you hear about, especially now with that role.
Right.
None of that stuff would happen. There would be no anything other than how are we going to deal with this top tier threat, which is why I think there's probably a permanent group within the government that just monitors this shit permanently. And it's like, you need to know when you need to know, bro. Like, we can't go letting every fucking guy in here knowing, oh yeah, by the way, the aliens are here and they're all from over there and there's a bunch from down in Antarctica at the secret space base. You can't have people knowing that and then going on Jimmy Fallon.
Nah, bro.
You know what I mean? It's impossible. So I think there are people that do know the shit, and all I can say is just go. If this conversation interests you, look up Operation Paperclip, Google Operation Paperclip, read about that, and then spend a week questioning everything you've ever learned, because that's the reality. So there's definitely some greater thing going on. At the end of the day, Darrell Campbell.
Yeah.
UFOs or not, aliens or not, it does not change the simple fact that every man and every woman has to share their light with each other. We all still have to give love to each other. We all still have to help one another. We all got to be the best version of ourselves we can be, if there's aliens, if there's not aliens, simply because we're all in this together.
That's right, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And with that is a perfect way to end this excellent adventure of the Everyman Podcast.
Cosmic, baby.
Cosmic Canoe is in full effect. Next week we'll be back with we're gonna have a little bit of a 4th of July spectacular. Word. And we've got an interview recorded that we'll be putting out. And then it's Madden season, so stay tuned. We got a lot coming, and we're looking forward to sharing it all with you guys and keeping you guys in the loop. And remember, if you're feeling like you can't do it today, just look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I can do it.
Yes, you can.